my mind, I was able to think and process. And if I let him get back up, he's going to get back up. I was like, let me finish this right now. And I caught him with that left hook, and then I caught him again with that right hook just to make sure the job was done, because I was calculating his hands wasn't touching the ground and his knees weren't touching the ground, but I know he was still going down. To make sure he wasn't get back up, I had to let those last two off, man.
Combat Sports Report. Only on SportsGrid.
He's just only 2,300 points behind. So even if he does win at Memphis, he's still going to be behind Scottie Scheffler in the points by 300. So why? I mean, I want Scottie Scheffler to show up in Memphis, but does he need to? If Rory's not showing up and the third place guy, even if he wins, isn't going to pass him?
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
What do you make of the season that Barkley had last year as he piled on the yards to get over 2,000, and what can that look like this year?
His year could have been much better with different circumstances here. So he was great. I assume he'll be great again. You want to take Jahmyr Gibbs? I don't have an issue with it, but, you know, Barkley, yeah, you're going to lose the tush push.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Big Fish is the best player in the WNBA. She is running away with the MVP award. Why is that? Caitlin Clark, injured. Asia Wilson, not playing at Asia Wilson level, but it's more about the fact about what's around her has been an issue. So to me, you know, Fish is almost like the MVP because everyone else has like gone down in some way, shape, or form.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Top of the hour. It's how we get down right here on the early line. A glorious Monday across the SportsGrid network, because why? So many good things are happening this week, which includes a Thursday night preseason game, a Thursday night trade deadline in Major League Baseball, and so much more. So Joe Ranieri, Donnie Rightside, carrying it through here for you. The vibes are high here. How do we feel? Like on the horizon is football. Like they're in camp right now. We get that. But when the real uniforms come out Thursday night, the excitement is going to be there, whether or not you bet that game. And my goodness, congratulations. If you have an angle on game number one this year, Joe, congrats.
Yeah, listen, I know there are a lot of guys been itching to get to this time of year. I think it really hits the day after. Once that calendar turns to August 1st, then the excitement starts to happen, Donnie, because you get the 31st. Now you got an actual football game on television, and then that calendar turns, and everyone knows what August means. Pandemonium is soon upon us.
Oh, it's fantastic because also, like, you might not like preseason football, which I don't. I just like to see it on my TV, and after a couple plays in, I'm like, all right, I had enough of this. Let's flip through. But the next week, right, everybody starts to play preseason games. So your favorite team, get a look at the draft picks here. Then, as we said to start the show, August 23rd is week 0 in college football. A slate that week then follows in the week number 1, and off you go and see you again post Super Bowl break at that point. So the excitement level is high. The energy of a new week certainly begins it, but also the energy that we're going to have at the end of this week once we get to August, absolutely fantastic. So now's the time in the show, Joe Ranieri, that we like to reach back and ask the public, are we fading the public or not? Fade the public polls we do each and every day right here on the SportsGrid Network on the early line. We reach out and we ask the question to the people and how they respond if we're going to fade or not fade the public. The question asked today at SportsGrid on X, who is the best bet to win American League MVP award? That's Aaron Judge, that's Cal Raleigh, or other here. And no surprise, 69% of the people voting for the big dumper. So I'm going to ask you first, Joe Ranieri. In your vote in this poll, which way did it go? Then I'm going to ask you some questions about it.
Well, it's Aaron Judge for me, given the simple fact that he's on the IL, and I think recency bias is playing a little bit of a role in your public voting there, Donnie, on this poll question because yeah, Kyle Raleigh just hit 41 home runs, right? Fastest as a catcher, switching a catch. It's a great story. The problem is, Donnie, the minute the Yankees get Judge back in that lineup, and yeah, he plays in New York, the New York media market. Kyle Raleigh, the big dumper, plays in Seattle. There is a world of difference between what people are going to remember by the time it gets to voting, and the Yankees and Aaron Judge will always have that opportunity to be way more popular than Cal Raleigh in Seattle.
It's interesting to look at too, because you're so thought of like the preseason expectations into the month of April, May, like again at May, June, early July, the minus 20,000 price point on Aaron Judge before Cal Raleigh really started to get hot at that point does make a dent in my mind, because I just wanted to vote quickly. Like when I see these polls, I'm like, first instinct, go ahead and vote on it. I actually voted for Cal Raleigh here, along with the 69% of the other people voting on this poll. But I find myself looking at that saying, and the question I asked you previously was, boy, it's interesting to see Cal Raleigh as a favorite now to minus 125. He's healthy right now. He's hitting home runs, and maybe deservedly should get the benefit of the doubt. But then I look and say, well, as an investor or a handicapper, and buying low is what you want to do. You never want to buy high, like, you know what? Price point's minus 20,000. I should get in now because that's free money at this point. Like, no, he's plus 100 now. Talking about Aaron Judge, is now the time to buy on Aaron Judge, because even if it doesn't work out, hey, I'm going to put $100 at minus 20,000. Enjoy your pennies. But if you put $100 on a plus 100 and it wins, that's $100 return back. Buying low is always a key here. And I feel like, could we be getting any lower on Aaron Judge from this moment, Joe? And would it be smart to maybe wait a few more days just to see if that price even increases?
It'll be interesting because you're right. I mean, he will be out of sight, out of mind in 10 days. He won't be adding to any of those numbers yet. Cal Raleigh will be, Donnie. And who knows, in 10 days before Aaron Judge gets back, how many more home runs does he have? 47? Does he have 45?
Yeah.
Does he have 46? I mean, every time, and not even a hit, but every time he hits a home run, you'll see that line move more in Cal Raleigh's favor. So I don't think the bottom has fallen out of the Judge market yet. I think until he's back in that lineup, just wait. You'll have a perfect opportunity once he gets back.
Now, let me ask you this question, too, because I find this fascinating, the way that you can approach in different angles that you have. You look at Cal Raleigh and say, okay, he's got a couple home run lead over Aaron Judge. Do you think, Joe, and I ask you this question first and I'll set it up, the winner of the home run, basically for the home run title for the season, if you will, is that the MVP in the American League? Like Raleigh, Judge, whoever hits more home runs, that's the MVP.
No, I don't think the home runs are going to have anything to do with it, because it's we all know, right? This is a popularity contest to begin with. So while it's great to have, but I think if you're going to have two guys that have hit 50 or more home runs, then you got to go to something else, right? It's one thing if one guy has 60 home runs, 55 home runs, and the other guy's got 38, and you're like, oh, there it is. There's your MVP. If both guys are in the 50s or approaching 60 home runs on the season, then what's the other determining factor? Because home runs is not it.
Because I look at this, and I think it's a fascinating way to bet it. Because, again, we're just looking at the American League, not Shohei Ohtani, not Kyle Schwarber, Eugenio Suarez. If it's toe-to-toe, and they're similar, right? So if we break it down and say, all right, well, Aaron Judge hits one more home run than Cal Raleigh. It's like, well, he didn't win the MVP. But you know what? That was a 10-to-1 price that you could have got on the home run for him hitting the most home runs in Major League Baseball, as opposed to a plus 100. Like for me, if I'm betting Aaron Judge right now, Joe, I'm not betting the MVP. I'm just going to bet he hits the most home runs here in Major League Baseball, because I think Schwarber's got 36, Eugenio Suarez has 36. If Judge comes back in 10 days, I still think Judge holds those two guys off. And the same thing with Shohei Ohtani. I think if he is healthy, he can hold those guys there. So I just say to myself, I think he hits the most home runs in Major League Baseball. I want that 10-to-1 price. And I do think, Joe, from my perspective, if he does lead Major League Baseball in home runs, I think that's the capper. Like if Cal Raleigh hits, 280 and Aaron Judge hits 330, that's a massive advantage for Aaron Judge. But you're right, it is a popularity contest. How do we finish the season? Do the Mariners end up chasing down the Astros? Do the Yankees use this as a catalyst to surpass the Blue Jays again? There's a lot of things up in the air. It's just fun to see how many different betting markets you can tap into and maybe find a place like, you know what? There's more value on this side, Joe.
Yeah, well, there is value on the board because you're getting Aaron Judge at prices right now, and could be even better while he's on the IL over these 10 days than you ever thought possible here the entire season. So, yeah, if some question marks about when he comes back and what's it going to be, it looks like he's just going to be a DH, if anything, right? Worst case scenario, he's just a DH. So he's still going to get his at-bats here with that lineup for the Yankees. They will still have priority on headlines, and the most talked about team in Major League Baseball will always be the New York Yankees. So does that play a role into whether or not Cal Raleigh will do enough in order to separate him if nobody's talking about Cal Raleigh and everyone's talking about Aaron Judge in the media?
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. And it's going to be fun to see how it breaks down. A long way to go, but certainly we want to see Aaron Judge get back sooner than later, because if you are betting Aaron Judge, it's better that he's back sooner than later. By the way, a couple quick topics here. Just seeing a tweet come across my screen. 26 years ago today, Barry Sanders announced his retirement from the NFL. Do you know what else I remember from like these late games? I remember being in Miami watching a Miami-Florida Gators game, and right as that game was playing, Andrew Luck retired from the NFL. We're going to get any surprise retirements here coming up before the season starts, Joe?
No, but I don't think so this year. There were a couple of names over the last couple of seasons that did keep popping up, but how bad is that back in Matt Stafford? Just asking.
I don't know. The wife says he doesn't get along with all the young kids in the locker room, so it could be a fracture out there. On the Rams, people, you want to handicap Major League Baseball? We're handicapping Major League Baseball next, right here on the Early Line.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
What do we always say? Follow the money. They just gave Derrick Henry an extension. Do you think the Baltimore Ravens are concerned about it? Doesn't seem like it. And if the Baltimore Ravens aren't concerned, then we shouldn't be concerned either. Because Derrick Henry is a freak of nature. He is a special boy. That's what he is. Derrick Henry is unbelievable. And every year, and then this year too, he's going to get undervalued in drafts. He's going to go after Ashton Genty.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Talk to any player. Hey, used to get 18 sacks, got 7 last year. Maybe it's a defensive scheme. I don't like it at the end of the season. Oh, he's got to earn his trust back. No, he doesn't. Just show up at camp the next year and start to dominate once again, and everybody will forget. You're telling me in game number 1, the Miami Dolphins going deep, Tyreek Hill, 6 catches, 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. Oh, man, we're still working the process. No, you're not. The minute you get back on the field, dap it up, get after it, and have a good season.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Bronny's not going to be an all-star. Bronny is one of the most notable names in the league, and legitimately going from people's conversations of why is he ever allowed on an NBA court to, no, Bronny's like the 9th man on the Lakers. That is a legitimate leap that I think people would genuinely respect quite a lot, JY.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Nice little slate of games here tonight for Major League Baseball. Not taking off, no 5 or 6 games here, a full slate. We're ready to get down to business and have some fun with this. And we have a battle of 2 first-place teams, or 2 teams, I should say, in the NL Central that want to be first-place teams here. That's the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. If we take a look at the tail of the tape and the team comparison between these two, how about 62 wins for both of them? How about 43 losses for both of them. But the favorites to win the NL Central still right now are the Chicago Cubs at a minus 165 price and a plus 140 price here for the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's start here before we handicap that game. Are we surprised that the Brewers are right back in this thing and the Cubs didn't run away? How about this? How about this Central Division?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely unbelievable. And it's a great pitching battle here tonight. But the difference always was to me, the Cubs were hitting the cover off the ball early in the season, right? That lineup with Tucker and company and Crow Armstrong. I mean, my goodness, these guys were monsters. However, the more you looked at that team, you're like, I like Boyd, but really, who are they going to? The pitching is questionable outside of Imanaga, and then you've got a bullpen where you're going, meanwhile, you knew Woodruff was on his way back. You knew this kid Mizorowski was just waiting in order to be able to get called up, and now you got Peralta, Mizorowski. You've got what a unbelievable pitching staff and bullpen and Woodruff. And I mean, what a absolute pitching staff. Now you compare that to the Cubs, and who do you take in a short series with that pitching staff? To me, it's Milwaukee all day long.
Yeah, I like it. I like what Milwaukee's got going on. By the way, if we look at this game, we'll line it up now. 9:53, 9:54 on the rotation. 7:40 tonight, so you guys got some time. No afternoon action today. Boyd versus Mizorowski. I'm going to get to those statistics in just a moment. But this line opened up overnight. Most outlets at 8.5. That's now down to an 8 this morning. So it takes 9 runs to win it. 8 gets you a push. And if you like the under, you better get it at 7 or less there for that victory. The side itself opened up overnight roughly a pick'em. It still sits really a pick'em as you see that graphic right now. But take a look at this. Like Mizorowski's got 29 and a third innings pitched over the past 60 days. New call up to Major League Baseball. Very good ERA, 2.45. And that xFIP also fantastic at 2.81 because he strikes out a lot of guys. But I got to tell you, Matthew Boyd, 63 and a third innings pitched, Joe, over the past 60 days. A 1.14 ERA. A 361 xFIP number, it's a little bit higher because the strikeout difference is there, maybe a little bit 2 more walks. But sometimes we look at Matthew Boyd, it's like, oh, he's just your everyday pitcher. He's got a 1 ERA over his last 60 innings, Joe. How are we getting to 9 runs in this game tonight?
Well, and he's running something crazy. He's gone 23 consecutive scoreless innings that he has pitched. That is the longest active streak in Major League Baseball here. Unbelievable. I watched that game in which he went 7 and shut out the Kansas City Royals last week. I think it was Tuesday, in fact. So, yeah, I mean, the guy has been on fire. But this is kind of an outlier season for Boyd. He's got all the things working for him right now. And great. Sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. Is it luck for Boyd? Is he in the right place at the right time? I still think, pound for pound, Milwaukee is the better team. And they got a pretty good pitcher on the mound tonight, too, going up against them.
Yeah, in Milwaukee. Just take a look at some of his statistics over the past 30 days. Talking about Boyd. How about a 3.1 walk percentage? Fantastic. A K rate of 27%. How about an 0.43 ISO and a 184 weighted on base percentage against? He's been really, really good. Then you flip it over to the big Miz over there. He actually gets touched up a little bit by left-handed batters, but his strikeout rate combined between lefties and righties, 38%. That gets you out of a lot of trouble if you can strike guys out. Oh, what does that mean, Donnie? Runner on third with 1 out, get a strikeout as opposed to a fly ball sacrifice fly. It makes a big difference. So for me, I look at this game and say, I love that Cubs offense, and I do love Boyd. The Miz has been throwing, but also, Joe, like, what are we getting out of the Miz? We going more than 4 innings, 4.5 innings tonight, relying on that bullpen. Those are the question marks that you have.
Yeah, well, I mean, the kid's only 23, right? In 3 2/3 innings against Seattle, I believe also last Tuesday was his start. He struck out 7 in 3 2/3 innings. He only threw 64 pitches. And listen, they're going to monitor him because they realize I want this kid in the rotation come September when it matters for the postseason. They want to be able to stretch him down to that part of the season. You're not going to do that if you just let him go out there 7 innings every time. He's just not there yet at 23 years old, but I think they're doing the right thing. And by the way, who's had a better bullpen than Milwaukee's bullpen is a big reason as to why it is they are tied for first place right now.
San Diego Superchargers. Well, it used to be the Superchargers. Now it's just the Padres in town to have fun with. We'll talk about this game next. The New York Mets and the San Diego Padres. 9:57, 9:58 on your rotation. 9:40 tonight. Nice little nightcap out here. Look at this side. Opened up overnight around a minus 145 price. We're down a lot. You see the graphic, minus 124, minus 130s in the sports betting landscape here. A total, which opened up at 8.5. That also down to 8. The New York Mets head to San Diego for a pivotal series.
Is Dylan Cease actually going to be a Padre by the time this game starts?
He might cease
he's
to exist.
We keep hearing all the time here that this is a guy that could very well be on the trade block and used as a piece to try and bolster this Padres team. And, you know, if anybody makes moves and crazy ones this time of year, it's usually the Padres and their general manager here. But are we stepping in front of the Mets? They played Sunday night baseball, did they not? And late, but they were already out on the West Coast playing the Giants. But you got the Padres. Where were they playing yesterday? So they had to fly home from St. Louis.
Pod's hammered somebody. Yeah, Pod's hammered Louis. Who's worse off?
I don't know.
The Padres might be worse off. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Also, the Mets on the West Coast yesterday, they played Sunday Night Baseball, but was it really Sunday Night Baseball because it started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? So maybe a little bit of an added advantage. But I thought you brought up a great thing here, Joe. Like Dylan Cease, if there are trade talks, teams are going to be like, don't you dare send him out tonight. And they're a favorite tonight. And I guarantee you this, if Cease is pulled from this game, the Mets will then turn to a favorite and you would be left with, oh, no. I thought I had Dylan Cease on the mound. It's no longer 10 years ago. It's like, hey, if the starter's not in there, all action is void at this point. So buyer beware of some of these pitchers trying to get their final starts in, not making their final starts. That could impact your bottom line good or, more importantly, bad if you took a favorite that turns into an underdog because your pitcher is out. More Major League Baseball coming up next right here on the Early Line.
It was rich that you're talking about the fact that you don't know what the point of going out there and playing golf and winning golf tournaments when you've got guys who are pining, living in their cars, trying to make a cut, playing the DP tour, desperate just to be in an event, let alone have the ability to talk about winning an event and being like, you know, I don't know why I'm doing this. Fulfill me. I'm not fulfilled as a golfer.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Y'all know where I'm going. And yeah, you can call it Knicks bias all you want. I'm taking the Knicks to come out of the East. I look at this New York team and think that Mike Brown is an upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. You may disagree. I don't care. I look at the fact of getting Yabusele and Clarkson off the bench is going to make the Knicks more dangerous.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
So Ramondre's already lost a ton of weight. That's great. He needs to stop fumbling the football. Trayvon Henderson, I think, is that playmaker you need. Then you got Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams. We kind of talked about those guys. Those are the two investable wide receivers. Hunter Henry, I think in a deeper league, is probably your tight end 13 or 14. He's right on the fringe. But I think a good situation here for the New England Patriots.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
This is interesting. Minus 116s, minus 120s in the marketplace. We're seeing now minus 140s across the board and 6.5s on the total.
He's not a big strikeout pitcher. His metrics look terrible, but he somehow seemingly get 5 innings, 6 innings, only 1 earned run. It's because he's a super ground ball pitcher, induces that soft and medium contact. He can essentially sap the power away from the Dodgers.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Los Angeles Dodgers, certainly going to be a hot topic here. They're the favorites to win the World Series. They're going to take on the Cincinnati Reds today. Joe Ranieri, 9:51, 9:52 on the rotation, a 7:10 start. Yamamoto's on the mound for those Dodgers going up against Chase Burns, the young flamethrower. Odds here overnight, minus 185 or higher for the Dodgers. That's now coming down. You see the graphic at 174. We're actually seeing as low as minus 150 in the marketplace, and a total which opened up overnight at 9.5 now sits at 9. People buying into Chase Burns. How about that, Joe?
Yeah, well, be careful because if not Chase Burns, I'd be worried about. It's what lineup shows up for the Reds here? The one that can actually score runs, or the one that goes, they look like they can't hit water if they fell out of a boat? And that's the big thing. And usually when they play some more of the elite teams and an elite arm like Yamamoto, I'd be careful looking at the Reds to get anything done against the Dodgers here. I think it's actually a cheap price on the Dodgers, is it not, with Yamamoto on the mound?
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because usually you think about these two teams and where they play in Great American Ballpark, and it's like, just give me the over. I don't care what happens. But you're right. Like, you look at the lineup on a day-to-day basis now for the Reds. It's like, what happened to all those hitters? Like, nothing looks all that great. Then you look at the Dodgers, you'd be like, okay, well, I got Ohtani, I got Will Smith, I might have Pages, and I have nothing left there. So you take a look at a guy like Chase Burns, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's pitched against the Los Angeles Dodgers yet this year. Who'll be throwing some heat at those guys, which maybe takes a round or two before they can certainly square up. 84-degree temperatures, which you like. Light wind blowing out the center field, which is okay. But I find myself looking at Yamamoto's last 45 and a third innings. He's been pretty good. 3.38 ERA, 3.56 xFIP number. So I think you're right. I do give the edge to the Los Angeles Dodgers because I do think they're more talented. But I got to tell you, I love overs in games. I'm not feeling this over today in this game, Joe. Not.
No, I am not. And usually the Great American Ballpark delivers a ton of overs, especially this time of year. But look at what we got against Tampa Bay over the weekend. I think we got one over barely, and the rest was just okay. It was a close one yesterday. It was a close one the day before for a little while. I don't trust the Reds bats enough against an elite starting pitcher like this to score enough. So I'm with you. The under is looking pretty good right now.
I think it makes sense. Like, I don't think we get to 10 runs in that game. I just don't. If they do, oh well, be it there. But I think Burns can have a good start, or at least get through the first two rotations of that lineup. And then, of course, Yamamoto, just being a veteran, able to work around. Let's get to Detroit here, who finally got a victory yesterday. They're going to take on Arizona today. Rodriguez, the lefty, be on the mound against Melton, the righty. 971, 972 on the rotation, 640 start tonight. This line opened up overnight right around a minus 125 price. It's actually slightly higher at most outlets, into the 130s. You take a look at the total here, opened up at 9, still sits at 9. The Arizona Diamondbacks, Joe, we'll start here first. A team that's looking to be sellers. Very hard to trust them when everybody's checking their phone in the locker room, whether or not they're even going to be there for the game later tonight. What's your feelings on Detroit at the cheap price at home going up against the Snakes?
Well, I definitely think it is. Now's the time to sell on Arizona here, and I think now the time to buy on Detroit, who avoided getting swept by Toronto at home, but the bats finally came alive. Usually that means now they can move past that losing streak and kind of keep it going, because if you look at the last 3 games of Arizona here, and yes, it was Pittsburgh, but they didn't score a run this weekend, and who can blame them? Because they have no idea who's going to be in that lineup and what guys are still going to be on the team here by the time the game starts.
Yeah, look at the total, right? It's still sitting at 9, which means you need 10 runs. It's not exactly a great pitcher's ballpark. There are good temperatures there in Detroit today at 87 degrees, but a light wind that is blowing in from right field. If you just take a look at a snapshot for the Detroit Tigers, who haven't been playing great baseball, you're getting some guys back into the lineup, which you like to see, but Kerry Carpenter not listed in the anticipated lineup today, just returning back. They don't hit left-handed pitching all that well, and Eduardo Rodriguez is a lefty. Not a great one, but he is a left-handed pitcher. You flip it over to Arizona, you go up against Troy Melton, which we only have 24 batters that he's faced this year in Major League Baseball, and what we get out of him. But you're right. If you're struggling for Arizona now and you're still on the road and you're just checking over your shoulder, checking in with your agent every half inning, am I getting traded? Am I going to give the high fives to get out of here? It's a tough scene. So me being, once again, a guy that likes to play totals to the over, I'm not feeling the over here again, Joe. I don't know if we get 10 runs tonight in this game.
I don't think there's any reason to look at the over. I do think there's reason at a very cheap price to back the home team here. I think there's some value and a buy low spot, but there's no way I'd be looking at it over here.
Yeah, interesting one today in Detroit. We'll see how that one plays out, and also who's going to be left, as we said, on that Diamondbacks roster. And also Detroit, can they hold off the Cleveland Guardians, which they better be able to do. Otherwise, one of the more historic collapses, it feels, in Major League Baseball. Let's keep moving here. More games to handicap. It's what we do right here on the early line.
It was rich that you're talking about the fact that you don't know what the point of going out there and playing golf and winning golf tournaments when you've got guys who are pining, living in their cars, trying to make a cut, playing the DP tour, desperate just to be in an event, let alone have the ability to talk about winning an event and being like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Fulfill me. I'm not fulfilled as a golfer.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Y'all know where I'm going. And yeah, you can call it Knicks bias all you want. I'm taking the Knicks to come out of the East. I look at this New York team and think that Mike Brown is an upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. You may disagree. I don't care. I look at the fact of getting Yabusele and Clarkson off the bench is going to make the Knicks more dangerous.
Betting above the rim only on SportsGrid.
So Ramondre's already lost a ton of weight. That's great. He needs to stop fumbling the football. Trayvon Henderson, I think, is that playmaker you need. Then you got Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams. We kind of talked about those guys. Those are the two investable wide receivers. Hunter Henry, I think in a deeper league, is probably your tight end 13 or 14. He's right on the fringe. But I think a good situation here for the New England Patriots.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
This is interesting. Minus 116s, minus 120s in the marketplace. We're seeing now minus 140s across the board and 6.5s on the total.
He's not a big strikeout pitcher. His metrics look terrible, but he somehow seemingly get 5 innings, 6 innings, only 1 earned run. It's because he's a super ground ball pitcher, induces that soft and medium contact. He can essentially sap the power away from the Dodgers.
Pro baseball today, only on SportsGrid.
We once thought a first-place team would be coming out of this next game that we're going to handicap. It's a 6:35 start. It's down in Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore's in first place at this time of the year, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, who we didn't have high expectations for. At least many pundits didn't. But now as we enter into the game tonight, 961, 962 in the rotation, it is Toronto that's the first-place team. It is Baltimore. That's the last place team here. How about that one? A slight favorite overnight for Toronto. Right now, Joe, it sits roughly as a pick'em. Another 9.5 total from Baltimore today. But, boy, you want to talk about role reversals from what we saw at the end of March till right now. Toronto as the favorite. Zach Eflin's on the mound going up against Chris Bassett. Any thoughts for this game? And every game, it seems like we're doing 9 and 9.5. Runs are expected today, Joe.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, too. I mean, the Blue Jays were going to lose at some point, right, guys? They weren't going to win every game the rest of the way, although they have been playing some great baseball. I mean, great baseball here. 18 of the last 22, I think, is what they ended up rattling off for wins there. Very good stuff. Bassett, very good at the Rogers Center. If you're going to bet against Bassett, you want to do it on the road here. But the problem is the Jays have won 12 of his last 16 starts, including, by the way, I believe the opening series versus the Orioles here. So he has been great in July, 2.39 ERA and 5 starts here. Congratulations. You beat Colorado. All right, Baltimore. You too are a team where you might look around tonight and go, where's Mullen? Is he gone? Where is... Half that team could be on the trading block here and maybe wearing a different uniform come tomorrow. So I think it's a cheap price. I think it's worth a shot with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, 90-degree temperatures down there at Camden
Mhm.
Yards. Slight wind blowing in shouldn't affect it there. You look at that Toronto lineup; it just rakes and has done so for the past 30 days. A lot of plus batters in that lineup, and not a lot of strikeouts, which is something you love. We'll see if they can get to Zach Eflin a little bit later on today. Another game we're going to talk about: the New York Yankees taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. 963, 964 rotation number 705 start from New York tonight. Rasmussen, the right-handed pitcher, will be on the mound here for the Tampa Bay Rays, and Schlittler on the mound, the right-handed pitcher, young right-handed pitcher for the New York Yankees. They're the favorite right now, the Yanks. You see that graphic about to pop up at a minus 120 price. It's actually higher throughout the marketplace now, as high as minus 133, and a total of 8.5. The Yankees picked up a victory yesterday, lost Aaron Judge for 10 days, taking on Tampa, who's certainly cooled off at this point, it feels like. How do we feel about the Yankees and the Rays here tonight, Joe, from the Bronx?
Yeah, I like the Yankees here. I agree with the line move. I like the win yesterday against Zach Wheeler, not just Philadelphia, avoiding the sweep at home. And yeah, I expect the Yankees to keep rolling. Tampa is another one of those teams, and I had said it, Donnie, this past weekend I thought was very important for them, because if the slide continued, because they have not been great since the All-Star break, and they weren't great going into the All-Star break, there could be a lot of different moves. The Rays could very well be sellers here, as they've got a ton of contracts coming up and a new owner coming in. So this is a tough spot for the Rays. I like the Yankees and the rookie, who's been great. I like him to be able to keep it rolling here and make it a little bit of a winning streak here finally.
Yeah, the new nomads of Major League Baseball, Tampa Bay, don't really know who the owner's going to be, don't know where they're playing baseball. If they make the playoffs, hey, maybe we can play at home, maybe we can play on the road. Just a tough scene here. It's a lot to worry about, with sometimes those extracurriculars that we talk about could be a positive, and too many positives here in Tampa Bay right now. I'll tell you what could be positive: runs tonight in Minnesota, as we take a look at Boston taking on the Minnesota Twins. Fitz versus Woods Richardson tonight, 965, 966 rotation number, 740 start. A favorite here for Minnesota overnight, around a minus 125 price. As you see the graphic, we're roughly around a pick 'em right now, but a total that still stands strong at 9.5. If we look at Woods Richardson, I'll tell you about this, Joe. When you're handicapping this game, Fitz and Richardson, analytically, we'll start here first. Richard Fitz, a 3.46 xFIP number, which is good through only 17 innings. Simeon Woods Richardson is at a 5.28, which is horrendous. That's last on the card today through 38 and the third innings. If you like ERA, how about this, though? Fitz is at a 7.41, and Woods Richardson is at a 3.29. Analytics versus the eyeball test tonight. Toe-to-toe in Minnesota, Joe.
Well, is Byron Buxton playing for Minnesota? Because I do believe he had a MRI. He has some issue, I guess, with cartilage or rib cartilage or abdomen. I believe it came back negative, but yeah, shocker. Buxton heading back to maybe the IL here. Let's hope not. But I don't see any way in the world that you can actually look to back this Minnesota lineup here. They were awful against the Nats over the weekend here, and just very little confidence. Another one of those teams that's sitting under 500, while yes, they're still technically in the wild card race. Anybody really think that bullpen is not for sale right now? Because that's all we keep hearing, Donnie. Questions, and questions. Don't trust Minnesota.
I'll tell you what I don't question right now is that Red Sox lineup against right-handed pitching. Simeon Woods Richardson over the past 30 days really struggling. His K rate, you're only 16%. That gets you in trouble. How about a walk rate of 15%? So you're walking too many guys, not striking guys out. That could be damaging. And you take a look at the lineup for the Boston Red Sox, at least anticipated. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus batters in the lineup tonight. So maybe there are going to be runs anticipated. Like the Sox yesterday, picked up a victory against the Dodgers. Let's see if they can pick up another victory today against Woods Richardson and the Minnesota Twins. Keep it moving down the line here. Let's head out to Los Angeles, the Texas Rangers, a team that we talked about on a win streak right now, looking to chase down their counterparts in Texas, the Houston Astros. They'll take on another AOS foe today, and that's the Los Angeles Angels. DeGrom versus Kohanowitz. This line opened up as a total of 8.5, still sitting at 8.5, but a heavy favorite towards Texas. You see that number at a minus 194 overnight. That was a minus 180. We're even touching minus 200s in the betting markets right now with Jacob DeGrom on the mound. Texas catching fire at the right time. Is this a walk-away victory tonight for those Texas Rangers?
I don't even think it's close. I mean, Kohanowitz is being recalled from AAA Salt Lake to start this game. So that tells you how well things were going for him here. So, yeah, no, I think this is not a train I want to get in front of with Texas now. They were one of the most profitable teams to the under, Donnie, all year long. But boy, oh boy, if you've watched this team over the last week or so, there's no more unders with this lineup and how well they are producing. And who's that guy on the mound for the Rangers tonight? What's his name?
Oh, boy.
Oh, I think we've heard him before. Oh, yeah. Is it DeGrom? Yeah, no. I'll lay the half a run in the first 5 with Texas, and I expect the Bats to get to the Angels before the Angels get to DeGrom.
Like, is this we going back to like Harvey and DeGrom and Syndergaard on the mound here for the Mets? You know what I mean? I mean, come on. DeGrom is still pitching well. By the way, look at his statistics here, Joe. 9 starts over the past 60 days, 55 innings pitched. How about a 2.13 ERA and a 2.9 xFIP number? It is like he's back pitching to the best of his terms that he's been when he was in his prime, and he's not in his prime right anymore. Certainly, that's sort of helping that resurgence here for the Rangers. We take a look at Kohanowitz on the mound. Not faring nearly as well. 33 2/3 innings pitched over his last 8 starts, 7.75 ERA and an xFIP of 4.58. You do have a pitching mismatch. And also, you take a look at these two teams. That's a big-time mismatch for the Texas Rangers, but also at the same time, you're not getting the plus 100 price, not a coin flip. They're at close to a minus 200 here. Let me just ask you quickly here on the Rangers down the stretch. Any buying in on them against the Astros? Any buying in against the Mariners? Because I really like what I see. And I think they have the frontline pitching with that lineup, which might be, when healthy, the most talented in that division. They could do some damage here.
Yep, I'm holding a ticket for them to win the West, and we got that about a month ago, and it wasn't looking good for a little while, but coming out of the All-Star break, this is exactly the lineup and the team we thought they could be, and they're getting the pitching. So, if you can get them, and I think you can still get them at a pretty decent price to win the American League West, and absolutely worth a ticket.
No, big fan of that. Again, full card on the Major League Baseball Monday. Love to absolutely see that sort of get you through that week, because as we wait for Thursday's trade deadline, some of those odds are going to be changing. If you're on the right side of those odds here and you pick the winners where Suarez is going and where a couple of these relievers are going, you'll get a better price than you have on a Monday that you'll get on a Thursday, and certainly post-trade deadline on a Friday. But Tom Vecchio is coming up next to help us out with more Major League Baseball right here on the SportsGrid Network. It's the early line, and we'll be right back.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
You know, they still need Kelsey to beat Kelsey at times. I think they will baby him again. He won't be out there for 70, 80 plays. He's going to be out there for 55 plays, somewhere in that range here to keep him healthy as the season goes on here. So we have to keep that in mind as well. Plus the backup tight end there, he has some big games as well. So I think Kelsey is still very usable, but I think what you want to be careful about is you don't want to draft the name anymore.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Big Monday right here on the network, the SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM channel 159. It's Donnie Wrightside here. It's Joe Ranieri having some fun and talking some Major League Baseball, handicapping the card. But as we know, like the anticipation levels sort of ramp up. Like we have the evolution, Joe, of the offseason. Once the Super Bowl's over, we know we have college basketball. We know we have the NBA. We know we have Major League Baseball on the horizon. But there's something different, Joe, once we get the NFL on the horizon and the energy levels that get brought up.
Yeah, and a lot more focus too here for a lot of folks come this next week, especially once they turn on the TV and are like, "Oh, wait a minute, we got ourselves an NFL game." Like, well, wait a minute, is that NFL football? Yep, it's NFL football. I am looking forward to it, and training camps. I think this next couple of weeks gives folks a lot of opportunity to get caught up with who's who, where's where, what coaches. A lot of intriguing questions and narratives coming up this season, too, in the NFL.
No, it certainly is. And by the way, are we buying in to the Cincinnati Bengals head coach Zach Taylor telling us they're going to play more in the preseason than they have in the past? Is that just coach speak, or can we actually watch a decent product in the preseason?
Yeah, I buy none of that, Donnie. There is no way Joe Burrow is going to be on the field for a lot of snaps in the preseason. Not going to happen.
But I tell you who is going to be on the field for a lot of snaps in this preseason. It's Tom Vecchio joins us this morning on the early line to talk a little bit of Major League Baseball action. Tom Vecchio, how are we feeling today?
I'm doing good. I think we're all set to go. We have a full slate of baseball. Yeah. We're leading up into the trade deadline, which obviously we talked about yesterday, Donnie, with a lot of different things in terms of lines changing. How do you approach it? You just take some unders on hitters, wherever it might be. But I'm ready to go.
Vecchio lost his voice for a little bit, found his voice, and he's ready to spout off some winners here. Toronto-Baltimore, we just talked about this game a few moments ago where at the beginning of the season, you might have thought it was Baltimore in first place and Toronto probably being a sellers this week. The exact opposite. Toronto's playing great baseball right now, roughly a pick'em and a 9.5. Great hitting conditions down in Camden Yards. What's your thought process today on that game between the Blue Jays and the Orioles?
Yeah, it's great hitting conditions basically everywhere. It's 1 billion degrees. We're going to see the ball flying. But I do like the Blue Jays today getting the best team in the league, one of the best teams in the league against one of the worst teams in the league at close to even money. I like the hitters to come through for the Blue Jays. And I know they had a really slow go with things yesterday, but that was bound to happen. They win, 15 of their last 20 games, wherever it is, and they're scorching hot. Jack Flaherty is a good pitcher, right? And he kind of shut them down and took care of business for the most part. But when I'm looking at this matchup and I get an even, close to even money price, Chris Bassett, I think, can neutralize a little bit of what the Orioles are good at. He's mainly a ground ball pitcher. He's not going to be dominating them with, 8, 10 strikeouts, whatever it might be. But if you keep the ball down, the Blue Jays put the ball in play and get to a now depleted Orioles bullpen. As we know, they just traded Soto to the Mets. So give me the Blue Jays money line.
Yeah, no idea on who's going to be still on this team for the Orioles too in the next couple of days, so that's going to be interesting as well. But we talked about it over the weekend, Tom. There is no more profitable team as a dog this year than the Miami Marlins. I can't even believe I'm saying it, but yes. And now they're on the road. They should have swept the Milwaukee Brewers, by the way, but they blew that game, lost it. But they, again, continue to impress, and now they're heading down to St. Louis, who also, from what we hear, could very well be sellers in the marketplace. So what are we thinking with this game tonight?
Honestly, great season for the Marlins. They're, an MLB best with 12-3 over their last 15, whatever it is. They're constantly winning as underdogs. I think their money line is totally fine today, but I want to turn to Edward Cabrera over 4.5 strikeouts. It's sitting at -130. Looking back at his recent game log, he's consistently pushing to 5-6 strikeouts in a lot of these recent outings. The Cardinals are not a team I'm truly worried about overall. There's been talks that Brendan Donovan, one of their top hitters, could be potentially on the move. The Dodgers, of course, have interest in a player like this that can get at the top of the lineup. So we're going to see a depleted lineup for not just the Cardinals, but a lot of these teams over. I'm going to trust a strong pitcher on the other side. He comes with a 24.9% strikeout rate. Like, give me the upside from a pitcher against a team that's, we could say that the Marlins may not be in it, but the Cardinals look to be more sellers from a hitting perspective compared to the Marlins.
You'll see what happens in a couple of those ball games tonight, but also the biggest issue today would be the New York Yankees, and also what are they going to do without Aaron Judge for at least the next 10 days, and what happens after that. You see Aaron Judge's statistics on the season, 342 batting average. You take a look at 37 bombs, 85 RBI on the season. Are you worried, Tom Vecchio, about Aaron Judge, or when you compare him in the MVP race, you might be getting a great price now on Aaron Judge?
Yeah, so here's what it comes down to. If the season were to end today, like Cal Raleigh, and even if the season goes on, like Cal Raleigh's going to end the season, I think, with more home runs compared to Aaron Judge. I think that's very fair to say. But after home runs, Aaron Judge basically has every other stat that you possibly want. He's going to have 55 plus home runs, whatever it is. Yeah. And he's also going to bat 330 or 340. And like Cal Raleigh's not going to touch batting 330. So, yeah, he has a ton of home runs, but Judge is better in every other category that we possibly look at. Now, I understand that there's a positional argument to be made saying Cal Raleigh is breaking catcher records, the most home runs by a catcher. Like, this is not something that we generally see. And this, the argument I was trying to make to Scott and George yesterday is like, what is the comparison for this? Like, if Brock Bowers leads the season in receiving, like, can we make the argument that he is the MVP of the league? Like, oh, tight ends never do this, but he's really not still the best in every other area if Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson were to do the same thing. So I think it's a similar thing where all the other stats are favoring Aaron Judge, but the numbers and the games played are going to be siding with Cal Raleigh.
Well, so does that mean you like the Yankees to roll over Tampa tonight, I'm hoping?
That's certainly a tough thing. The pitching matchup, I think, is a lot closer than people realize, but you know, at this point, I'm actually looking to fade the Yankees a good amount if we're going to be getting decent prices on the opposing team. And a part of me still wants to take a piece of my Yankees to miss the playoffs.
Oh, how about this? Let's take a piece of your prop bets tonight here. You got two of them on the board, Tom. Let the people know once again where exactly we're going tonight on those props.
Blue Jays money line, they bounce back after a loss. Zach Eflin is terrible. Ball's going to be flying, and really like Everett Cabrera over 4.5 strikeouts. He's been crushing it for the Marlins going up against a potentially depleted Cardinals lineup.
Runs, and more runs. It's what we like to see. A lot of these games that we went over, Tom Vecchio, 9.5, 9s in the atmosphere. We love to see that. Give you 85, 90, 95-degree temperatures inside of those ballparks to some questionable pitchers. Yeah, we love to see. You know what we love to see? Tom Vecchio on the Sports Grid right here with us on the early line. Joe and Donnie will close it down next on the early line.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
You know, they still need Kelsey to beat Kelsey at times. I think they will baby him again. He won't be out there for 70, 80 plays. He's going to be out there for 55 plays, somewhere in that range here to keep him healthy as the season goes on here. So we have to keep that in mind as well. Plus the backup tight end there, he has some big games as well. So I think Kelsey is still very usable, but I think what you want to be careful about is you don't want to draft the name anymore.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Energized for a new week. That's how we do it here on the Sports Grid Network. It's rise and grind. It's time to have fun. It's time to get the information out to the people. It's Joe Ranieri. It's Donnie Rightside. But before we get out of here today, we like to get the people just a little bit more money in their pocket. It's buy, buy, buy. Ooh, buy, buy, buy. Nice little stinger here on a Monday, Joe. Before we go buy, 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 tell us about a play maybe that the people should be buying to put more money in their back pocket today. Where are we going with this action?
Listen, I know, poor Aaron Judge. The Yankees can't win without him. Well, they're going to win tonight without him. I can assure you of that here. Love what this Yankees team and that win yesterday did for them. I think they can roll that over into here. They got some new pieces. They're a little bit better defensively now. And quite honestly, it was good to see Devin Williams actually get a save yesterday without everybody sweating it out because he walked the bases loaded. But Tampa is the real fade here. And simply put, I mean, when you look at what this team has done over the last month, it is not good. I mean, Donnie, they were one of the best teams in Major League Baseball, right? I mean, my goodness, they went 25-9 from the middle of May to middle of June. But you know what? They're 7-18 in their last 25. They're 500 for the first time since the middle of May. I'm not buying it. They lost Brandon Lowe to the IL, and all of a sudden they can't hit and they can't score any more runs. Love the Yankees at this price with the rookie on the mound. I'll back them at home at a really, really cheap price.
Let's ride a streak here. I'm going to hit it with the Texas Rangers here. I'm going to go team total over 4.5 at a -145 price. Reason being, if you look at that win streak, which is now over 6 games, started with the Athletics, 7-2 victory, 6-2 victory. The low mark was the 2-1 victory over the Athletics. Then they took on the Braves, 8-3 winner, 6-5 winner, 8-1 winner. What are we noticing there? A lot of runs being scored outside of that one game with 2, 6 of 7 games, that 4.5 would cash. We're going to go ahead and take the Texas Rangers today. Corey Seager and the boys going up against Kohanowitz, who's a slippery pitcher here, doesn't allow a lot of fly balls, but he doesn't strike out a lot of batters, and I think they're going to have some damage today at the plate from the Texas Rangers. So how about that? 2 ways to look at it. Yankees money line today, Texas Rangers here, team total over 4.5. 2 American League teams as we get after it today and have some fun, and a full Major League Baseball card today. So what's the rest of your day look at here, Joe? You going a little WNBA action, you filtering in, you waiting for Thursday. Like, how's the rest of the day go for you today?
Oh, this next couple of weeks, Donnie, is all about getting ready for week 0 in college football and getting ready, of course, for the NFL. So a lot of homework to do here over the next couple of weeks before it all kicks off.
Yep. Let me ask you a question on this. Contracts. We talked so many times about it this morning with the NFL. Guys want contracts. Guys aren't getting them. Guys showing up. Guys getting paid. If I gave you Terry McLaurin of the Cincinnati Bengals versus Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals. Or what did I say? I said Terry McLaurin of the Washington Commanders, and Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals. Who signs a new deal first? Because we already know one showed up to camp and still hanging out. Who signs a new deal first?
Well, from what we're hearing, I mean, the conversations are active with Trey Hendrickson. McLaurin may have shown up, but the reports are, don't confuse that for, obviously, progress when it comes to working a deal out here. So I think Cincinnati gets it done. They just signed the rookie, the other bookend defensive end that they drafted to be on that side. I think Hendrickson's deal gets done sooner rather than later.
Like, actually, they don't really correlate together, but just the fact that, like, Shamar Stewart got signed when they were hating on each other from both sides, now they're happy. It just feels like, all right, we got the one guy in, let's get the other guy in, let's get the vibes going, let's have a full preseason, and away we go at this point. So I'm going to throw a wrench in this one for you as well. How about Micah Parsons? Like, if we had McLaurin, if we had Hendrickson, and we had Micah Parsons in line, we know, like, if I say, like, if 2 of these 3 guys don't get paid, I would pick McLaurin and Hendrickson don't get paid. Like, I know Mike is getting paid, but could he be paid last out of this? How long does this charade go on for?
Oh, right up until the point where it's the most publicity for Jerry. That's how he does it. So he might do it the day before the game and say, see, I told you we were going to get the deal done. Yeah, that's Jerry he always waits until the very last minute.
Jerry Jones waits. Look, it doesn't affect him in the pocket. It just affects the salary cap. And Jerry's like, I would die. Give me another Super Bowl here. Well, you know how you win Super Bowls? You manage your cap correctly here so you can afford extra players and continuously making those runs at the Super Bowl. Been a long time for the Dallas Cowboys and their fans since they've run anywhere into the playoffs, let alone a Super Bowl or an NFC championship game. Could things change? Maybe the more they stay the same. That'll do it for today on The Early Line. Joe Ranieri, Donnie Rightside. We will see you bright and early tomorrow on a Tuesday. Until then.